city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event. It's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds. A movement of momentum. Sifu Rafael, Lancelot, Jose Escobar. Together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC Experience. Mastermind, light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC Experience Mastermind, where purpose is found.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how's everybody doing? How you doing today, Jose?
All is well. Another beautiful, gorgeous day. Hopefully it's going to be sunny. Yesterday was a little bit rainy and cloudy, but we'll see.
All right. Sifu, how you doing, man?
I am exceptional, getting better every day. And my camera just turned off. Just so I can pop back in, right?
Well, I tell you, it's a beautiful day when you take a moment to just reflect on how blessed we are just to be able to breathe the oxygen in the air, to take a look at nature, and to appreciate all the wonderful things we have, like a home, the coffee cup to drink in. Good morning, Angeline. And that brings me, we had a discussion about a topic, and I chose the topic, morning routines, getting up in the morning and becoming, and what that looks like. And I would love to talk about that and just review that, what you do, what I do. I'm sure we all have different routines in the mornings, and it's not about just waking up early. It's about waking up early and doing something different, doing something to control your day, doing something to start your day off properly, because your morning routine dictates how your day goes, because the quality of your thoughts in the morning is going to be the quality of your day. So, gentlemen, can somebody share what their morning routine is?
I'm going to push it back to the guy who actually wrote a book about it. So let's go.
Yes. So I could tell you, first of all, this topic is definitely my backyard. I love everything morning routine. For me, for a long time, I would say at least, I guess it's different for everybody, but for me, a long time was 5 years. So for 5 years prior to having Connected Leaders Academy and everything I'm doing now, I was already doing a morning routine. And I was learning about a lot of this stuff for many, many years prior to that. And my whole thing was, I said, you know what? I know so much about morning routine. I just don't actually apply any of it. I just learned a lot. I learned a lot from like Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, Robin Sharma, Hal Elrod. You name all the greats that talk about morning routine. And I said, it's time for me to actually apply everything I've learned, right? So that's when I started applying some things, and then my entire life changed. And I wrote this book, as was just suggested, Winning the Day, an Entrepreneur's Guide to Morning Evening Routine Mastery, which covers half of this book is all about morning routine. The other half is about evening routine, because I believe in the bookends of your day. How you start your day is going to set you up for success, and how you end your day is going to put the other bookend on that success of the day, and also preparing you for the following day, right? Too many of us forget about the evening routine, and we just focus on the morning routine. And I think there's definitely something to be said about how you start and how you end, because there's always an end, right? So that being the case, for me, morning routine, usually I've changed it a couple of times. It used to be from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And then I went from 4:30 to 7:30. And it kind of has adjusted over time because of my lifestyle, right? My lifestyle shifts quite a bit. And now it's back to 5 to 7. It was at some point 4 to 7. Now it's down to 5 to 7. just because I realized of the way things have been going in the household lately for the last, I don't know, 90 days. There's always something kind of happening, and it affects my sleep. And I'm like, you know what? I should probably just start waking up at 5, forget the 4, right? So that's kind of where I've been lately. But it's 5 to 7, and the things that I do within that time frame, first of all, is prayer. So I'm very heavily, I immerse myself first. The first thing I do is I pray. I have a Bible study here. I have my Bible here. And I'm doing a Bible in a year, which is a really awesome program with Father Mike Schmitz. So I'm doing a Bible in a year, and it covers every day. There's different parts of the Bible. You listen to a podcast episode as you kind of read along. And then Father Mike Schmitz will cover like the kind of understanding what you're reading, because we can just read the Bible for the reading it, but again, a lot of the language and the verbiage and the references and the history and all the things is a lot of times beyond our comprehension, and we need an expert that's that's what they learned, that's what they do, right? Theologians and priests and pastors, like these people study this. So it's important to understand what we're reading, because if we have no way of interpreting that, then everybody can have their own opinion of what they're reading. That's kind of the thing, right? So it's the whole idea is to have an interpretation of what we're reading. So I do that in the morning. I also do affirmations. So I have my stack of cards that I read out loud. I read it with meaning. I read it slowly. I read it out loud. And I'm very intentional about that. I mix those up. I have, I don't know, like 500 different affirmations, and they're I am statements, right? So not like I would like to, or I'm working towards. It's I am. So I am, an amazing father. I am a servant leader. I am a keynote speaker that speaks all over the world, right? So you say these things, and it's funny because over time, a lot of those affirmations that I started with, at least 75 of those things were not true 4 years ago. And I'm talking about 75 big things, right? At least a lot of those things were not true 4 years ago. But as I continue to brainwash myself in a positive way, you start to live into it. You start to feel the feelings. You start to experience the things, and you kind of show up differently. So affirmations, visualization as well. So I have a board over there of things that I'm looking towards. I have a private jet on there. I have a yacht. I have my Rolls Royce Phantom. I have this big mansion on there. I have a 6-pack. I have not a beer, like a 6-pack, a 6-pack. I have a beach home. I have all kinds of things there, right? So, and these are just things that along the way I want to achieve, right? Now, somebody could look at that and say, oh, Jose, that sounds very materialistic. Listen, money is a means to an end. Okay, let's just keep it real. All right, money is a means to an end. What I'm doing is not because I want to make money. By default, I'm making money to the impact that I'm creating to the marketplace. That's a default to the impact you're creating, right? So along the way, there's nothing wrong with having nice things if you desire it, right? But the bigger play for me is the global impact, right? I want to change lives globally. I want to build schools in Guatemala. I want to support people at the highest level. I want to do so many amazing things, nonprofits I'm going to be launching. All of that stuff requires what? Money, right? So, and along the way, if I can get these things, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to shy away from it or even talking about it, because that's what I do. That's what I'm about. So visualization is super important. Between visualization and affirmations, those two things can completely set you up mentally, physically, biochemically, in so many different ways that people just don't understand unless you do it. And then, of course, I read. Every morning I read 20 minutes. I have tons of books here on both sides of me, and I'm always reading. I kind of rotate through 5 different books at a time, different categories, different things. I'm 95% nonfiction, and every now and then I'll read a classic or something like that. Usually it's nonfiction, business-related, health and wellness, spiritual books, relationship books, motivational, inspirational books, business development books, that type of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I read. And I'm always reading something for 20 minutes. And then I'll also look at my calendar for the day. Okay, what do I have lined up that I planned the night before? What is happening? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to reach out to? What are my expectations? What am I supposed to be doing? What's my number one priority for the day? What are the 3 core tasks under my number one priority that are things that are really pressing, that are time sensitive, right? But at the end of the day, I just have one main priority. That's the main thing. If this main thing gets done and all else fails, at least I did what I had to do. But of course, there's other things, like 3 main core areas that I got to focus on. I have a very clear schedule. And then, of course, after all those things, I do breath work as well. I also do a little bit of meditation where I just close my eyes and I'm in stillness, and it's like a form of prayer. But I do 2 types of prayer. Meditation is more like me just being open to the voice of God, right? And then silence and contemplation and thinking. And then I also do the prayer of actual prayers. And I'm Catholic, so the Catholic Church is full of prayers. There's all kinds of prayers you can pray. So I usually read out my prayers, and I actually read a prayer book, and I do stuff like that in prayer mode. So there's those types of things that I do. And then I also have fitness somewhere incorporated, right? And the fitness piece for me has sometimes been a part of my morning routine, and sometimes it's not. I just do it later in the day, whatever the case is. It depends on the season, right? So right now I'm in a season where the fitness piece is not a part of my morning routine because of my lifestyle, right? So you have to constantly tweak and adjust based on where you are in your life. So I already know I'm setting myself up for failure if I say I'm going to do my workout first thing in the morning when I'm barely sleeping because of my kids and, stuff like that. So I got to make sure that I'm whatever I do, I commit to it, because the minute you start saying you're going to have a morning routine and you start to not do those things in the morning, you start to you kind of start to lie to yourself.
Exactly.
Then unconsciously, you don't even realize it, but you're becoming unreliable to yourself.
There you go. It erodes at your confidence. Absolutely.
Yes, and then it starts to tell you, hey, you're not going to follow through it, and you start to become this person that lacks follow through. And then it's just bad for you. So you have to be real with yourself. You got to tweak your morning routine and your evening routine over time to make sure it's always where you need to be, because we're always growing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sometimes certain areas in our life are kind of going this way. Some areas of our life are going this way.
Yes.
So we have to tweak and adjust and be real with ourselves. But whatever you commit to, you got to do. So that's kind of a snippet of my morning routine, and it shifts over time. A lot of those things are in here, and there's like 30 different things that I talk about that we could be doing in our morning. You don't have to do them all. You just have to focus on all the areas of your life: spiritual, emotional, physical, intellectual. I mean, you name it. There's a lot of different buckets to hit. So that's like a snippet of what I do right now. It's 5 to 7, Monday through Friday.
Well, that's a lot of things, and it's awesome. But this is why you need to get up at 5 to 7. Because I'm a firm believer that you have to get those things done before the rest of the world wakes up. And in order to accomplish all the things that you're doing, you need to have the time so that you're not rushing. So it's not just about waking up early. It's about waking up early and doing something different, doing what it takes in order to build and be a better individual each and every day. Sifu, what is it that you do early in the morning? I know you get up early because we communicate many times at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. So, and good morning to everybody that just came on. I see you. Good morning. Hopefully everybody's having a great morning. Sifu.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, Jose, ditto. So for me, fitness has been a big part of my component, if you will. I'm recalling when Jose was speaking over 20 years ago, I was teaching black belts at 5 a.m. every day. So that means I had to leave my house way before then. I had to be up. I had to do all these things. But every day I was teaching the black belts at 5 a.m. for about an hour and a half. And so for me, it's been part of my life for many, 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 many years. But when I was a teenager, my morning routine was, where are my covers? Where are my covers? Let me hide under the bed. Let me not get up. Let me not even go. I didn't even want to go to school. Even though I was an A student and I was an honor student, I still wanted to stay in bed. I wanted to snuggle. And then something shifted in me. And the shift was, I need to become more. And then all of a sudden, even in high school, I started going in early before school opened. I would be at school an hour before school opened in high school. And the pool was open because one of the teachers asked me to be part of this program to teach kids how to swim who didn't know how, so that they can have life-saving understanding of being around water. And so I would be in school an hour before school opened in high school. And since that point, I've been up every day without fail, always. And it's always been with fitness. It's always been with prayer first, always prayer, meditation, and movement. So movement for me is probably the number one thing that really encapsulates my life, if you will. Because I also do Sifu's Mind Body Method, but I've been living that program my whole life. And so when I brought it to light to share it with others, it's not something that I talked about only. It's something I did day in, day out. And so for me, it's always about what am I doing? How am I doing this? It also happened at 14 when my brother came from the Marines and woke me up at 4 a.m. and said to me, he shook me out of my sleep and he goes, let's go. And I'm like, where are we going? And he goes, just get up, get dressed. You got to come. I'm like, okay. So first day, he took me for a 12-mile run. Second day, same thing. Third day, same thing. This is at 14. He just came back from being in the Marines. He was in boot camp. Seventh day, same thing. Actually, I was starting to get up before he did. By the eighth day, I'm waking him up because now he made me catch the bug. And so we were running every day 12 miles, every day. And from that point on, he didn't want to get up at this point because he's like, I got to go back to boot camp. I want to sleep. I'm like, nope, you started this mess. We're getting into it. And from that day on, I ran every day for 2 hours. It was no longer 12 miles. It was more than 12 miles. Because the way I did it is I would run for 1 hour straight. Wherever I was, I would stop and then run back home. And I did that even when I started working. So I would make sure that I would be home by 7 o'clock to shower and catch the train by 7:30 to get into the city. So every day I had movement because it was embedded in me. And I thank my brother, who is an active reserve in the Marine. The man embodies serving because he's still serving. So when you think about your life, what could you do early in the morning that others won't do? And so, yes, affirmations, yes, prayer, meditation, movement, studying. I was studying this morning. On business, how to take my business to the next level. My fiance woke up the other day. It actually was earlier, last week, actually. And she goes, did you do this? I'm like, yeah, it's done. Did you do this? It's done. It's done. She goes, when did you do it? I said, this morning. She goes, oh my God. She says to me, you do more in the morning than most people do all day long. Mm-hmm. And I said, there's a reason for that. Because I wake up with intention. Because I don't have an alarm clock. And I'm gonna share this with everybody. I actually have a really fancy alarm clock. It's on my nightstand. It's unplugged.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it away to anybody who wants to pay the shipping for it. If you tell me, hey, I want your alarm clock because it's fancy, it'll wake me up, it's yours. All you have to do is pay the shipping. I don't want money for it. But it's basically a dust collector now. Don't get me wrong, I dust it off. But still, I don't use an alarm clock to wake up. God wakes me up. And when I wake up this morning, my intention was to get up around 4-ish. I was up before that. And the reason for my waking up was because my body said, get up, do your thing. So I started praying, I meditated, and I hit the gym. and I worked out. But I worked out with intention, because also I've written many workout programs for many people. I've been a personal trainer for many, many years. From high school, I was training people. So for me, it's about writing a program for somebody. It's easy. So I wrote a new program for myself for the next year. Every day, intention. What am I doing every single day? And so I wrote out a whole year's program for myself. I've done it for many clients. But if we don't take care of ourselves, and when did I do that? I did it in the mornings with intention. What is my workout today? What is my workout tomorrow? And instead of me trying to guess what it was, I wrote it out. I laid it out for the whole year, because I had shoulder surgery, and people like, you had shoulder surgery? Because they see what I'm able to do still. And it doesn't look like I had shoulder surgery, because I intentionally train every day. There's no failure in me waking up and training, because I cannot function without it. So every day when we think about our morning, we should be intentional. Many people wake up and hit the snooze alarm, and they do it over and over and over again. There was a meme that I showed my fiance, and it was the iPhone, and it was an elongated iPhone. It was like a foot long, right? Can you imagine a foot long iPhone with a bunch of different alarms, because people kept hitting snooze, snooze, snooze. And it was the funniest meme I saw. And I shared it with her, and I said, is this your phone? I found your phone. Because sometimes I do hear her. She is that person that hits the snooze. But she intentionally puts them on, because she wants to slowly wake up. I wake up like this. I wake up on a dime. And if you wake, if even if it's 2 a.m. and you woke me up, I'm ready to go. Jose, you and I shared a room in Canada. You saw me. I was reading the Bible, right? I was doing things. I was out walking. I was out doing things. I was moving. I went to the gym. I did all these things. Even when I travel, my morning routine does not end, because guess what? I've been given the gift of another day. And I'm very grateful for that. So I don't only work on my morning routine. Like Jose said, there's an evening routine. You got your bookends. But if you talk about bookends, what's in the middle? It's what you do in the middle that makes the end better. So in the middle of the day, I do pray. I do meditate. I do take time to focus on what I'm doing, who I'm helping, how am I serving. Every day is a new challenge. And if I'm not challenged every day, my day is wasted, and I waste no day. So that's a bit of my morning routine.
Wow. The one thing you notice is that all people that are trying to be productive leaders all have a morning routine. Similar but different. But we all take the opportunity in the morning to take control of our day, take control of our thoughts, because the quality of your thoughts dictate the qualities of your life. So it's very important to wake up in the morning and really control how you think from the time you get up. So my morning routine, I wake up anywhere from 3:30 to 4 o'clock in the morning. And I have a cutoff of my routine. Has to be done by 6:59, because that's, to me, when everybody else wakes up. So you want to be able to have your morning routine done by 6:59. There's a cutoff point. So for me, I wake up with urgency, because I know I had a cutoff point of when I want it to be done. And that helps out, because that makes you get up and do what you do and don't procrastinate. But one of the first things I do when I wake up is, before I even, and this is something I started doing recently, before I even put my feet on the bed, I have my thoughts of the day. And I use the same thought all the time. I'm enough, I am powerful, and greatness is my destiny. And those are the things I say before I put my feet on the ground, because it's very important to take control of the mind before the mind takes control of you. Because in the morning, the mind, everything is trying to flood in. All kind of things are trying to get in that head. And it's up to you to wake up and first and foremost filter the things that are trying to get in. You control what's in your head, you control what stays, and you control what and how you want to feel for the rest of the day. So I get up in the morning, and like I said, I say, greatness is my destiny. I am enough. I am powerful. Then I put my feet on the floor, and the first thing I do is make my bed. Now, I make my bed because that to me represents discipline. That to me represents, okay, you are ready for today. So I make my side of the bed. My wife always says, make sure you tell them you make your side of the bed, because she's still in the bed. So the next thing I do after that is I grab my phone, but in no circumstances do I open my phone and scroll or look at notifications. And that's one of the hardest things for me to do, because you grab the phone, you think, see, that thing is lit up with 60 messages and you want to look. But the control and the discipline is not to be able to open that phone up and take it downstairs with you, because I'm going to need that phone in my fifth system. So I go downstairs, I get a glass of water. I drink that glass of water, and what that represents is waking up my awareness. So as I'm drinking, I'm starting to wake up and be aware of how I feel and what I'm thinking, and making sure that the thoughts from yesterday and what happened yesterday are not seeping into my thoughts in the morning, because what happened yesterday I can't control. But what I can control is what I feel and what I do today. So I monitor my thoughts, right? Once I monitor my thoughts, I see how I'm feeling. Am I having any kind of emotional feelings? Am I anxious or anything like that? And again, if I am feeling anxious, identify that anxiousness and say, I have no control of what happened yesterday. I can only control what happens today. So once I do that, now I'm starting to be aware of how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. Then I go downstairs, I take the phone, I now open it up, and I listen to Stoicism. I listen to positive reinforcement, and I listen to that for about 40 minutes, because I believe in really bringing into the mind what you want. So I listen to that for about 40 minutes. Once that's over, I get a gratitude journal. I get my journal, which is right here, and I write in it every single day what I'm grateful for. Once I write what I'm grateful for, I then have affirmations that I do every day. I do 1 or 2 affirmations each and every day. And one of them is on my wall. I was built for impact, and every room I enter rises because I'm there. And I say that every single day. But I don't just say it to say it. I say it with intention. I look in the mirror with the intention to evoke a specific kind of emotion. I don't know what the emotions are going to be that day, but it's not just about saying it. It's saying it to yourself to inject it into your subconscious. It's like, I was built for impact. And every room I walk into rises because I'm there. I say that 10 times every single day. Once I do my gratitudes, once I do my affirmations, then I believe you can't take care of the mental without taking care of the physical. They're all connected. So every morning I do 100 squats on a slant board, and I do 100 dips. And that is my morning routine. But I do all of that before 7 a.m. to make sure that I do it before everybody else wakes up. And that is my morning routine. But it's about taking back and owning your mornings. That's the most important thing to people that are listening. Take back your mornings, because that is when you really shape how your day is going to go. You can architect your own day. You don't have to be a leaf that's blowing in the wind. You know what I mean? You can actually control what and how you do your day. So that's what I do in the morning.
Well, I got to chime in here and say, first of all, Lancelot, very impressive. Absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant how you do yours. Very unique. And I love hearing different versions of what people do because it always gives me ideas. And I'm always in ideation. How can I improve what I do? And so that's pretty strong. And Sifu, equally amazing. Absolutely love everything you guys said. As a matter of fact, you referenced this idea of Stoicism, which I'm a huge fan of. This is one of my daily reads here, Ryan Holiday, and it comes with a journal here that is part of what I do as well. It's a journaling
Nice.
with it. But there's plenty of books. I mean, Marcus Aurelius.
There you go. That's my man. I love it. Yes.
All kinds of great. I have a whole collection of that whole genre of Stoicism, which I think is huge. Very, very important. But anyway, outside of that, it gets you to thinking. It stimulates the mind and it gets you to think in a different way and more reflective kind of thought process, right? So, because reflection is important. But one thing I was going to say that's kind of like speaks to everything that we've talked about morning routine is I have talked, because if you don't know, I have a course that I launched. It was like the first thing I launched with the Connected Leaders Academy. I launched this 4 years ago, and it's called the Morning and Evening Routine Mastery Program, right? So that's a course that I started, and that course ended up becoming the book, right? The book came after the course. It was actually a course first, and then I wrote the book. So in this course, as I was interviewing people, because I don't just let somebody buy it, I have to sit down with them and I have to understand where are they with their morning routine and evening routine. Do they have one? Do they not have one? If they do have one, what does it consist of? Tell me the whole thing. Where do you want to be in your life? What's missing? And as I get the whole picture of this person, then I got to determine, are you even coachable? And are you somebody who really wants to be worked with? And how bad do you want to get from point A to point B? And what's holding you back based on the blind spots that I'm uncovering for you right now, and based on what you already know about what's been holding you back. And then we evaluate, okay, are you a good candidate to take this course? Because I don't want to push a wet noodle, right? I want to work with somebody who's ready to be worked with, right? So that's pretty much where I'm at. And that whole thing, and I say that to say that part of that process, I found that a lot of people that I spoke to were like, oh, I have a morning routine. Yeah, my morning routine is I walk my dog and I get my newspaper and I make my coffee and I eat breakfast. I take a shower. I brush my teeth. That's my morning routine. And so that's what you just do in the morning that everybody does, whether that you need to do it or not, or you want to do it or not. You just have to do that because that's part of what is required. You got to eat, you got to shower, you got to brush your teeth, hygiene. Your dog needs to go out. I mean, of course, coffee, you need that little nicotine kick or whatever, not nicotine or a caffeine hit. So a morning routine is supposed to consist of activities and disciplines that are going to improve your life personally and professionally. Things that are going to make you uncomfortable, things that are going to stretch you so that you're growing in all areas of your life because they're all interconnected, as you said earlier, Lancelot, right? So that is a morning routine, such as affirmations, reading, prayer, physical fitness, journaling, visualization or affirmations, I don't know which one I said, and then all the other things that you can be doing in the morning, right? Those are actual things that are going to move your needle that are outside of what everybody else does. Because all you're doing is what everybody else does. That's not a morning routine. That's just things that you're supposed to do anyway. It's the extra things that are going to improve you on a personal and professional level. That is a morning routine. And a lot of people I found don't even have one. And in people's minds, they have one in their mind, thinking that the things that I do, like eating breakfast and showering and brushing my teeth and making my bed, is a morning routine, right? So once you shift that perspective, now there's nothing but room to grow. And that's the amazing thing about just a simple tweak in how you view something.
You know, and you said the key is room to grow. And that to me is the most important thing. And the beautiful thing about being human is the ability to constantly grow. You're never too late. You're never too old. We have what they call neuroplasticity. We have the ability to adjust to anything. Our mind has ability to change. You can be one way one day and decide to be something else the next and do the work and change. And that, to me, is what life is all about. The ability to change and to be something different than you were. Although you are really just realigning yourself with what you already have inside of you. But the point is to understand that you can do it at any age. Those that are listening and you're feeling stuck, all you have to do is do the work. Create a morning routine. Create an environment around people that are doing what you want to do, and then just do it. And you'd be surprised at how much these morning routines really help. I see the difference in myself and how I handle situations based off of the work that I'm doing every single morning. And that's a good feeling when you can notice that the stuff is working. The things that you're doing are really moving the needle for you.
Yeah, I know Sifu is dying to say something, but I got to say something before he does, because I just had to move faster than he did this morning. And I'm going to say this, that in my book, I talk about win the morning, win the day.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're winning the morning, you are now set up to win the day. It's not about just being productive in the morning, because that's one component, right? It's about building and molding an identity, right? It's better than just productivity. It's the identity. It's who I am. My morning routine is a part of who I am. It's what sets me up for success, right? Champions, since we're talking about champions don't wake up thinking, okay, what am I going to do today? They don't go where the wind blows. Champions are set up to dominate their day because they understand I'm going to pour into all elements of my life first thing in the morning. I'm going to refill my cup in every aspect of my life. So now I can pour into the world and into people like most people can't, because a lot of people are operating off of an empty tank.
And
I do have something to say, but I'm going to play this first. Take a look.
The New York City Mastermind Experience here in Tampa is like no other. The room is electric. The people are having a great time, and I'm so proud to be one of the speakers. I can promise you, if you're not at any of these events, you're missing out, because today was an incredible day, a life-changing day for everybody who was here. All of the New York City Mastermind Experiences are a must-to go. If you're looking to impact your life and take it to the next level, if you're looking to improve your business, your relationship, your finances, any of those things and more, you have to be in the room to meet the right people. There's somebody in every one of these rooms that are going to impact you and change your life for the rest of your life. Why wait at home on the couch when you could be here doing something incredible?
We love Danny Z. Danny Z is an incredible human being.
Yes.
And when you think about morning routines, right? The three of us are doing a show at 7 a.m. Now, that's not by accident. That was intentional, because we want to be part of people's morning routine for Tuesday mornings. We want people, while maybe they're getting ready for work or whatnot, to throw it on, listen to what we have to say. But we also bring guests like Danny Z, Jacqueline, and many others who have been at our events and who have even sponsored. So in a little while, we'll throw Jacqueline's commercial up as well, because she was a huge sponsor for us at the last event.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
So for the New York City Mastermind Experience, we've created an actual website. So it is New York City Mastermind Experience.com. Get your ticket today, because I'm going to tell you, they are cheap. And I'm not saying that the experience is going to be cheap. We decided to give those first investors, if you will, because you're investing in your time with us. You're investing in the opportunities that we'll present to you. We're giving it away basically for nothing. Go to the website. You will be shocked at the prices, but they're not going to stay long. So this is for the first 20 people that take action. After that, the price goes up. And we go another 20 people. After that, the price goes up. And guess what? Don't wait. You know what happens to those who wait? They don't get the worm. They don't get the worm. So, and so for us waking up early, it's because we decided in our individual lives to accomplish more than most people are willing to do. We probably do, the three of us combined, do more than most people do their entire day. And there's a reason that we do this, because we're not standing and waiting for others to guide our lives. We're guiding our lives. We're taking the reins and we're guiding our lives through everything we do every single day, day in, day out, every day. Why do I say I'm exceptional and getting better every day? Because I'm actually doing it. I don't say it. That would be baloney if I just said it and didn't do it. If I'm not getting better, if I'm not improving, if I'm not looking at what I'm going to do tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, how do I know if I don't plan it? If I let others plan my day, boy, my day is going to be gone. It's no longer mine. So your morning routine sets you up for success. That's why when you're morning, be the champion. That's what we're talking about. So if you want to become a champion, and if you're watching this on the replay and you woke up at 8 o'clock, okay, we're good with that. Maybe tomorrow you wake up at 7:45. You don't jump from 8 o'clock in the morning, your wake up time, to 5 o'clock, because you'll never be successful. You have to incrementally build it slowly, intentionally. And one day you'll be getting up at 5 o'clock too. Maybe like Lancelot at night, 3:30, 4 o'clock. Sometimes I'm up at 2:19. I know 2:19 because it happens often. 2:19 is a weird number for me. A lot of times I wake up at 2:19 and I'll be like, why am I up now? I can't go back to
racing.
I even go, well, maybe I'll take another hour. I can't stay asleep. So what winds up happening is at that point I go, well, God is telling me I need to move. I need to go. A lot of times at 2:19 in the morning, I am journaling, I am writing, I am building, I am creating. I am a creator because God told me I am a creator, and I believe in what I do because God has given me the mission. My mission is to help as many people as possible. So if you want to come to the New York City Mastermind Experience, you're going to experience something that no other experience could possibly give you. You're going to be in a room full of winners, people who are champions. You're looking at 3 right now.
You know, I want to share something that was wonderful. I want to expound on that. And I want to go back to the pandemic and what the pandemic taught me. We went in the pandemic, and all of a sudden, for the first time, we were controlled. Our time was controlled. We were told we weren't able to go out. And it was very scary for me. And what it taught me was that time is not always guaranteed us. And that we must start to spend our time wisely, because time is the most precious thing and commodity that we have. And we must start to spend our time, share our time, and do with our time the things that are going to help us move forward. And as I understood that, I started doing things differently. I stopped watching TV. I started reading more. I started writing my book. I wrote my book during the pandemic. I did 75,000 push-ups and over 30,000 pull-ups during the pandemic. Why? Because I started understanding how important time is and how I'm spending my time and what am I trying to do with my time. And I decided then that I wanted to be a leader. And from that point on, I've been tweaking it based off of what I see others do. This is why proximity is power. Because when you're around leaders and you're around people that think like yourself, things that they do, if you would allow it, will rub off on you. And this is the reason why I started getting up early, watching other people. This is the reason why I created a morning routine, watching other people. And each time, like Jose said earlier, you tweak it. You change, you adjust, you add things, you take things away as you continue to grow as an individual. But it was based off of the pandemic, which taught me that time is not guaranteed you. And what you do with your time is the most important thing. And then I learned that the morning and taking back your mornings is so powerful and so important, because when you take back your mornings and you take your thoughts and control how you think and how you feel, that creates the quality of your life. And I just want people to think about that as they're thinking about changing and doing their routine, adjusting their routines.
Here's a good question. What time do you go to bed to get up at 3:30 a.m.?
Interesting, you should ask that. You want to hear something funny? The last 3 months, I've been going to bed 8:30, 9 o'clock. My wife starts getting into bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I used to go to bed 11, 12 o'clock. And then once I started going to bed earlier, I realized that I was able to wake up with a little more energy, because a lot of times when you go to bed at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and then get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, you have to tell yourself you have energy. Now I get up, I don't have to tell myself I have energy. I have energy. And that's one of the things about controlling your mind. I used to get up and be tired, but tell myself I wasn't, because it's about controlling your thoughts. But that's a good question, because I have changed in the last 3 months. I go to bed much, much earlier than I used to.
So if you're paying attention, guys, of what you're hearing here this morning is change is a real thing, because we're constantly evolving, right?
That's right.
And if you're not evolving in a productive, transformational way, as in uphill, then by default you're plateauing or you're just going downhill, right? Decaying. So the question is, where are you? Which direction are you going in? So to answer Leon's question, she asked a question right above that, and she said something about, where do you find, what was it? Where is the places that makes you feel the most whole, right? Which was a great question initially. And I can tell you, for me, I feel the most whole in my prayer time. When I spend time with my Creator, with God, the Lord, I tend to feel at my best. I tend to feel comfortable. I feel present. I feel alive. I feel vibrant. I feel inspired. I feel loved. I feel like I'm ready to love. I feel all the things I need to feel, because, you know, feelings are nice and feelings come and go. For me, the logic and all those kind of things, like, really is kind of how I operate my day. But again, feelings, if you're not in control of your emotional state, it can disrupt your day. It can literally disrupt your day. Energy is a real thing. So what gives me the most energy, what makes me feel the most whole, is spending time with God. So that's my answer. Another piece to know is, I wake up at usually, again, historically it was 4 a.m. and then 4:30. Now I'm at 5 o'clock, just because I have too many variables in my house of kids waking up, and it's just becoming a challenge, right? So I go to bed by 10. I go to bed by 10 because my evening routine, as I said, there's a number of things I do in my evening routine. I read another 20 minutes. I do personal project time, deep work, focus time on projects that I'm working on. I do more prayer. I do more journaling. I plan my day, my following day, the night before, during my evening routine. I commonplace, where I put things away for future reference, which is a whole other thing in and of itself. If you don't know what commonplacing is, do the research or check out my book. But I do a lot of things in my evening routine, and that's from 7 to 8:30. And 7 to 8:30 is the window of time after I've already had dinner. I've already spent time with my kids. My kids get put to bed by my wife, and during that bedtime routine that she does with them, and, you know, all the other things she's doing, that's my window to say, hey, I'm going to spend me time from 7 to 8:30, and then from 8:30 to 10 o'clock, I spend time with my wife. Right. So that's what we do. Sometimes we'll have a glass of wine together and just talk. Sometimes we'll read a book together. Sometimes we'll watch some reality TV show, whatever it is. And it's guilt-free time. I don't care what we're doing, because I've earned it. I've already done a lot in my morning and my evening. I poured into the world and into myself and into my family. I spent quality time with my kids, with my wife, with my business, with my health, with all those things. So that's kind of me. 10 p.m. I'm in bed. 5 a.m. I'm up. Morning routine, evening routine. And the last thing I'll say to this whole thing is, you got to know what your order of operations is. You got to know what's the most important to the least important in terms of what you value, right? So for me, every single day through the lens of how I see it, number one for me is God, right? I'm sorry, Katie, but number one for me is God. Number two is Katie, my wife, because she's going to be with me till the end, and when the kids are moved out and doing their own thing with their own families, right? Number three is my children. Number four is my health and wellness, right? My own sanity and my own well-being. And number five is my business. And then has, you know, friendships, just personal friendships and hobbies and all the other things that come along the way. But you have to know what your order of operations is, because if you don't, you're going to do whatever the heck you feel like doing. So for me, people ask me all the time, Jose, how in the world do you have time for your family? How do you have time for your wife, for your kids, with all the stuff you're doing? And it's just because of that. I have a morning routine. I have an evening routine. I'm very structured with my time. And I know in order of that proximity I just told you, I literally schedule my day in that order. I spend time with each individual child every single day. I spend time with all the kids collectively as well as a group. I spend time with my wife in the morning and in the evening. I spend time with myself. I spend time with the people that I'm seeing as well. So that's really what it's about. So I think that makes all the difference when you have extreme clarity on how you're showing up.
And he spends time with me at least 2 hours a week.
That's right. That's right. I want to just clarify something, because anybody that knows me will say, wait a minute, you can't be going to bed at 8:30. I would say 8:30 3 days a week, because on Mondays, I don't even get home till 10:30. I just realized that. So I just want to make sure that I'm accurate in what I'm saying. Tuesday nights, I have class from 7 to 9. So I would say around 3 days a week, I get to bed now, anywhere from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. Now, I might not go to sleep, but we're in the bed that time. But I just want to make sure I clarify that, because anybody that knows me, well, wait a minute, I just talked to you at 10:30 yesterday. So I just want to clarify that. So at least 3 days a week, 8:30, and then some days 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, for me, because I usually get home at 9 o'clock because I'm teaching. And so I spend time with my fiance. And usually I go to sleep anywhere between 10:30 and 11. And so I don't have an alarm clock. Like I said before, even though on my phone, I could put alarms on, right? And so for me, it's not that I'm trying to sleep less. If I sleep more, my body hurts. My body knows more than me, so I listen to my body. I'm an anomaly, if you will, because I don't need a lot of sleep. What I need is energy, and I get the energy from living. I'm different that way. And even my own son said to me, how do you get up so early? How do you, and you have energy all day long. If you guys have ever seen me, Jose, do I have energy?
Yes, very much so.
I thrive on living. And so for me, when I was younger, I found out that there was a guy in India who only slept an hour a day. And I said, I want to be like that guy. And then I'll be honest with you, when I got divorced, I didn't want my divorce. For 1 year, I only slept 15 minutes and I was full of energy. There was no stopping me. And so that's when I built a lot of things. I used to repaint my apartment or my house. I used to build up different walls and everything, because I also have construction, right? And in the middle of the night, I would be building and creating and doing all these different things. And slowly, it wound up being half hour. Then it went to 45 minutes. Then it went to an hour. So I probably sleep anywhere now between 4 and 5 hours. Anything past that, my body hurts. And it wasn't that I asked to only be able to sleep 15 minutes. It's just what my body was going through. It was that metamorphosis, if you will, of this is what I'm giving you. And so once again, I always listen to my body. And when you learn to listen, and listening is a skill, I got to tell you, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who don't listen, and they struggle. They struggle, and it's because they don't listen. They don't listen to the advice that's going to get them to the next spot. They don't listen to their health. They don't listen to their sleep. They don't listen to the people who've done it better than they have. Because one of the things is everybody wants what the next person has. But the real question is, are you willing to do what they're doing? Most people cannot walk in our shoes. Most people cannot walk in Lancelot's shoes. Most people cannot walk in Jose's shoes. Most people cannot walk in Sifu's shoes because we are different. We're not asking anybody here listening to us to be like us. We want you to be you. Be the best version of you could possibly be.
Yeah.
There's only one you.
That's right.
There's only one life that we know of right now. Make the most of it. So if it means waking up earlier, that's fine. If you, for some reason, work during the night, then obviously you're going to go to sleep during the day. So it's whatever cycle you are working on, make it the best that it is for you. Yes, some people need 7 hours of sleep. There's people who need 14 hours of sleep. There's people who need 8 hours of sleep, 10 hours of sleep. I'm not sleeping, by the way. That was just my camera that shut off. I didn't go to sleep right there. There's some people who need less. I need 4. But sometimes my body says no. I've gone to sleep at 11 o'clock, and at 2 or 1:30 in the morning, I am up and I cannot go to sleep no matter what I try. I'll go on the couch. I'll do this. I've gone to my gym at 2:30 in the morning. Why? Because my body said, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to my body. And that doesn't mean that day that I went to the gym at 2:30 in the morning, that doesn't mean I come home at midday and go to sleep. No, I didn't go to sleep that day till again at 10:30, 11 o'clock, because I was still going. So what could you accomplish if you learned to activate you?
I want to quickly say here, great question, by the way, Sifu. I want to, as my final thought, I want to say I have a workout with Dave Hurley at 8 o'clock. So
Nice.
how about that? Shout out to Dave Hurley in Ireland. But anyway, in terms of my final thought here, and this is a great topic. Thank you, Lancelot, for considering to discuss this and really learn some things from both of you, as I always do. So it's about being in good company. See what happens when you're in good company. You learn some cool things, and you get inspired, because I realize I'm not in this thing alone, and I realize there's other people who are pushing themselves in ways that I'm not, right? Which is important to learn and grow from each other. So one thing I will say is, a lot of us are concerned with time. Oh, I don't have time, or, I don't have this, or, it's a time thing, right? And I can tell you right now, the only one thing that's more important than time, because we all have 24 hours in a day, is your energy, right? Do you have the energy? What's the point of having, more time if you don't have the energy to show up and to support it, right? So for me, it's not so much about having time. It's about showing up with more energy. Right? Super, super important. For me, my morning routine is what I call performance fuel, right? That's what I, fill myself up with in the morning. I fill up all my tanks, and I'm re-energized, I'm refocused, I'm re-inspired, I'm reinvigorated, and I'm ready to serve, and I'm ready to love, and I'm ready to give. And that's what it's about, right? And again, as we're talking about champions, it's about dominating your day. And you can't dominate your day if you feel like crap at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't dominate your day if you feel like you need a nap at 4 p.m. You can't dominate your day if you don't have clarity in where your day is going, where you just kind of go where the wind blows. You have to have clarity of thoughts, clarity of mind, clarity of energy. You got to be filled up and you got to be ready to go. And that's the power of having the right energy in all buckets of your life, because they all add up, and that's the right performance fuel. So you can, elevate your day and really show up the way you need to.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, think about it. We're having a New York City Mastermind Experience meeting tomorrow at 7 a.m. Who do you know in business that has a 7 a.m. meeting? Most people, their meetings start at what, 9, 10 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
Not us. We're different. We're built different. So think about your day today. What could you do differently today to win your day, to win the battle that we face every day, and we call that life? It's not really a battle if you start with intention. It's planning it so you are the winner. You're the champion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my final saying. So be the champion you were meant to be, because God did not create wimps. You chose to be a wimp, or you chose to be a champion. God chose you to be a champion. So be the champion you're meant to be.
And my final thought I want to address and circle back to those that work at night. So they understand that they too can do it when they get up. So it's not about what time you get up. It's about how you get up. It's about the intentions of what you're doing when you get up. So let's say you get up at 3 o'clock because you worked all night. Then it's time for you to get up at 1 o'clock with the intention of owning your afternoon as opposed to your morning. So because you work at night doesn't exclude you from being the best leader and person that you could possibly be. We are saying if you wake up in the afternoon, then it's about how you wake up that matters. If you usually get up at 3 o'clock, start getting up at 1 o'clock. And when you get up at 1 o'clock, the first thing you do is control your thoughts. And then you create a routine that is going to make you better than you were the day before. Because this is about, realistically, each day doing the work to be a little better than you were the day before. And if you can continuously do that each and every day, each and every week, each and every month, each and every year, after the year, you are 38% better than you were before. And that's the most important thing, growth, being a leader and being a servant to others. And that is my summation and my final thoughts.
And don't forget, get your tickets today, because they are on. We're on the early bird special, if you will, right? They're not going to last. They're
Look
not
forward
going
to
to
seeing
last.
you guys in Atlanta, Georgia.
Me too. Atlanta, Georgia. It's going down September, guys. We look forward to seeing you there. NYC Mastermind Experience.
That's it. All right, guys. God bless.
Great show, guys. Great show. Good talking to you. See you later. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
You got it.
Make sure you are part of the New York City Mastermind. It is one of the most brilliant places that you can spend your time. Whenever you get people that are open to learning, asking questions, and listening, collectively, this is one of the most beneficial things you could possibly do, investing in yourself, because connection, understanding, you get a room full of people that you get to tap into and learn from their experiences, good, bad, but we're all after the same thing, which is to serve people at the highest level.